there, everyone. My name is Ashley Hunt. I'm the Senior Project Management Instructor here at Stormwind Epic Live. And today, speaking of Epic, I want to talk about Epic's personas and stories and how being creative can not only help you understand your project, but also what's going on with your customer. Because as we try and collect requirements and gain a good understanding of what the customer wants, it sometimes can be a bit vague in the middle. So epics, personas, and user stories can help us do that. So let's start at the top with epics. Can you imagine if somebody who had never seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy and you had to explain it to them? It would be a ton of information all at one time, and they may or may not actually get the gist of it. They'll get the big overview and go, oh yeah, that sounds good, but I really don't know from movie to movie what exactly is going to occur. So epics, think about it like that. It's a very large amount of information that's really designed to provide an overview. What does the customer want? What is an overview of the Lord of the Rings trilogy? It's really about a higher level purpose, but it's so large in nature that there's no way that we could execute it, and we actually have to break it down a bit further. But this is good at a high level, like umbrella of what it is that we're trying to accomplish on the project. Well, with that epic in mind, we can start to take a look at what that looks like on, let's say, a software project. So customer wants software that can build his business outreach to clients more effectively in the form of advertising, email campaigns, and reminders. Okay, well, we have a bit of a gist about what the customer wants, what they're coming to us to do for them. But at the same time, we've got to break it down just a little bit further and get a better understanding of what is this epic really all about. So a user story basically takes that epic and tells stories in an easier way. This helps to simplify epic requirements, but basically we're doing it in a language that could be much more easily understood by the team and or developers in a software project and the customer and the user. It helps to really go back to the customer and say, does this sound right? Is this what you wanted? It basically breaks those big requirements into smaller areas of functionality that we can then build on incrementally. Because we know change is going to happen, but we want to be able to get started. We want to be able to understand in a much more specific way what that customer is actually looking for. And so an example maybe of a user story is to break it down. The first piece really identifies what we call the actor or the role that needs something. And that's probably in this case the customer, and we want to make it as specific as possible. Part 2 of a user story identifies what the user or the role, customer in this case, maybe end users, need to do so that the end results are very clear. Part 3 includes very simple words like so that we have more information to provide insight into different ways why the functionality is even needed in the first place, and also what business value does it provide for the user and or end user. In this case, it's going to be the customer. So when we take a look at those user stories, we can start taking a look at, all right, what exactly is this customer looking for? So let's look at part 1. Customer is ABC Company, and the sponsor of the project, the customer, is Jack Smith, who is also the owner. ABC Company provides widgets to their customers around the world and is looking for ways to improve their process. That's part 1. Part 2, Jack Smith will need to meet with us on a weekly basis to document or update needs versus wants and provide a better understanding of the software needs for his company. This is where the so that comes into play. As an owner, Jack wants to be able to check on his customers in many ways so that his company can provide excellent customer service. He wants to be able to train his employees on the new software so that they can reach out to the customer in a variety of ways, including email, blast ad campaigns, send reminders to the customers, hey, it's time to put in an order. Okay, so we're getting a better understanding of the crux of what this organization wants and some of the things that they might need or want in the software program that we are developing. It also really helps to have an understanding of who the company or who the person, customer is. User personas give us the option of really breaking down why is this project important to this company, to this customer, who are they as people, and what can we expect going forward with this business relationship. It helps to provide information. And this is good to have a better understanding of who the user is, to engage with them directly, to target development efforts, to have a better understanding of what's going on. Now, this could be a category of user or an actual specific person. So it could be mass production of a software program, or we could be developing something that is specific to a customer need and want. In this case, we're focusing directly on the customer. So we want to get a better idea of who Jack Smith actually is. So we want to know who the user is. We want to know what their background is. We also want to have a better idea of what their key goals are and figure out some kind of usage scenario. And we can't do this without communicating with the customer. This is not we and our team making things up or using our perceptions or assumptions. This is based on real back and forth communication with the customer, which will then allow us to get a better idea of who they are and what their actual persona is as it pertains to this particular project. In this case, Jack Smith owns and operates a small widget company with 60 employees. He has many customers around the world that depend on him to provide widgets in a timely manner. Jack is not very computer savvy. This is important for us to know because we're going to be the ones that say, well, this is a have to, this is a maybe you would like, but we're going to have to maybe dial back the technical jargon when talking to Jack. He does know, though, that his current software is not working for the company and or the needs of his business on a day-to-day basis. So he wants to be able to provide his employees with a better software program to keep track of the orders, customer needs, as well as to provide information on sales, promotions, reminders when new orders are due to be prepared. Okay, so after this, I and my team are starting to get a better understanding. Okay, this is who Jack is as a person. This is the epic, the big overview. And here are some of the user stories that will help us put together a plan in order to execute what Jack Smith needs for his employees and for his customers. This is just a very basic example. You can be as creative as you want to be. The goal is to better understand not just the end result, but who the end result is for. That's really important because it helps us develop requirements much more succinctly and much more based on who that broader audience is going to be. Creative storytelling really allows everyone on the team to truly understand, why are we doing this project in the first place? Why is it important to the end user or to the customer? This is going to allow us to communicate in a much better way and a much more progressive manner in order to plan out what is the work, what are the user stories, what are we going to have to accomplish here so that we can produce the end result, but still know that somewhere in that product backlog, something is inevitably going to change. We have to progressively elaborate on the work. But going in with an epic user persona and some stories, that's going to give us a better idea of where do we begin and what is the end result supposed to look like. So get together with your team, be a bit creative, have some brainstorming sessions, talk to the customer, and really get a better understanding before you kick off a sprint of what they want, why you're doing it, and what some of the key requirements are going to be before you get started in planning.